Hi everyone. Today I will introduce myself and I will briefly show my web-based portfolio and then I will present my learning adventure project. Let's start. It's my home page. There's an information about me. I add some classical books I read and I liked, and I add a quote. I believe that what worries you masters you, so I try to challenge myself. In foundation page, there's a reflection about my meaningful learning project. Communication collaboration page includes my digital native projects in which I make an animation. Creativity and innovation page includes my creative lesson plans reflection. I design a lesson plan to improve students' creative learning skills, in which the technology is a learning tool that supports students' critical thinking skills. And last page includes Learning Adventure, my final project. In this project, I designed a web quest for 9th grade students to clarify energy sources in the world. This is all about my web-based portfolio. Let's look at my web quest. This is for 9th grade students to examine sources of energy. Let's start. Students have a great time when they explore the topic, and after they learn the content completely, they try to answer some questions and complete some activities. In introduction part includes information about myself and my topic. As you know, I'm Darpin and I'm student at Boğaziçi University at teaching chemistry department. I choose this topic because I believe that exploring the use of alternative energy sources is a must in today's world, and students should investigate this topic. First, students learn specific energy types and then they learn effects on Earth. They need certain materials such as access to internet, library research materials, and virtual field trip. In this web quest, students had a virtual field trip to Çanakkale and Bursa. They examined wind energy and hydroelectric energy in this trip. Here are some advices. These books, Alternative Energy Sources and Technologies and The End of the Oil, is about energy sources and fossil fuels in Earth. And I think they are useful in this content. This web quest includes related articles, videos, mini quizzes, and games. Introduction part is done. We can click the inquire part. We have essential questions in there. What is the energy? What are the alternative energy sources? Can we save the Earth? And how do we know the energy is there? These questions for pay students attention in this topic. Here are learning objectives. After this lesson, students become able to define energy and identify different types that exist, and they become able to define renewable and non-renewable energy sources, and they will provide examples. When students learn the related questions and objectives in this part, they move on the who part. We know that energy is everywhere. It's sometimes sound, sometimes wind and food or light. This part includes essential questions to pay students attention in the topic. For example, renewable energy creates 5 times more jobs than fossil fuels, and its example, a microwave uses about 50% less energy as compared to an oven, so conserve energy, have pizzas. If students want to learn more interesting facts, they can click here and they can read 25 interesting facts about alternative energy sources. And I add maps and data for students to understand energy around the world. For example, if we click here, here is a map. Here is a map for students. They can examine all around the world energy sources. For example, United States and how many billion kilowatt hours of electricity in that year. Here is Armenia, here is Turkey. For example, here is Russia. They can investigate graphs. And the other link includes graphs about alternative energy sources. For example, wind, solar, and hydropower energies and their changes during time. There is a game. Students can save the world in this game. The world energy supplies are increases and it's up to students to save the earth. Look at that. Here is information about game and students can save the world. In this game, they make informed energy decisions by exploring the relationships between factors such as geographic location, availability of energy sources, cost, and environmental and community impacts. This is another game. We have two games including energy sources. They have the power. First, they should choose location. Then they regulate the energy sources according to the power. They choose resources and how much of each. They provide electricity to their community. It's another game. Uh, Here they must choose correct alternative energy options for our world. Here is another data to examine the graphs and table for 10 countries leading the way in renewable energy. They have a quiz. They learn the content correctly and they should do this quiz. There are questions about renewable and non-renewable energy sources, for example, petroleum and natural gas. Students give this quiz and publish it. When they search different websites, do the quiz and evaluate themselves, they can jump into explore part. If they want to examine the properties of energy sources, they should click and learn about them. Here is an article and it explains properties, advantages and disadvantages of certain renewable sources. Here is a game for them. It's also a mini quiz. They should match them in proper way. We have abundant sun, water and wind, which are all renewable sources. So fossil fuels dependence for an existence based only the renewables. This is a question for students and this animation describes this question properly. It's in YouTube. They can click and and watch this animation. It describes renewable energy sources. It's colorful and more easy to understand. Move on. We have an article about energy sources again. Again, it explains their properties and it explains also their ratios around the world. Here is a little question for students to understand if they read or they didn't. This is an article and video from Net Geo. We know that Net Geo is a good source to explore these facts. Here is a video about our planet, and then this article explains this video. Students should read this. Here another drag and drop activity. Students should do this. They define energy and describe renewable and non-renewable sources through articles, videos, and game. It's time to create a project. They learn during the web quest, and now they should create their project. I want them from write a story about life in future years. So they should describe life without fossil fuels, and they should identify the energy sources used in everyday lives. They explain what they do think would happen our world energy supply in future years. First, they should create a mind map, and they can use Xmind program. They should their mind maps, and they should give details about their story or poster. After creating their mind map, they start to generate their story and poster. They can use Canva or Placeit applications to make it visual. When they follow the steps and complete the project, they should present it in class. They can always send an email their instructor. And here is a rubric for them. It includes content, required elements, creativity, and presentation. And I also add here the references. It's all about our web quest. I hope students may enjoy. Thanks for listening.